Actually, I'm on my bike in New Jersey. It's a highway, so that's plenty of roads. Should I change language?
These 5 September lectures begins in the private sphere. In my small family, in my home, in our apartment, and in the close by neighborhood. This is a story about the small world and the big world. Since the beginning of July, I'm a real parent. I'm a dad. Our daughter is from the city of Guangzhou, in the southeast state, Guangdong in China. She's a global person. I myself is a global artist based at home. This family is a small family. We're only 3 people. I guess that makes us a Chinese family. I guess that makes us very much a Chinese family. Today we have done the dishes and are soon to do laundry. Me and my daughter have had the first breakfast and are now preparing for the second one. Porridge for her and coffee for me. This small and local world, or mainly being at home, is now mixed with my thoughts on process, context, power structures, participation, everyday life, and the merging of it all. What stories do we expect the storytellers to tell us? Stories told by collectors, big stories from out there, collected by global travelers, never at home, never away, always in the land in between, always in transit. I have in the introduction to these lectures said that I will connect them to 2 things. One is the search for a cure against despair, and the other is relocalization. I will not talk about these 2 things specifically. Instead, they are to be seen as a background for the 5 lectures. I use relocalization as an inspiration for my life and how I can open for what is nearby, to open up and see my neighbors, to really see the place where I am one of everyone, to open up and see my neighbors, to see where I am one of everyone. I know that relocalization is a term connected to alternative sources of energy, peak oil, and how to prepare contemporary life into a more local kind of life. But I hope you allow me to use the term as inspiration more than as a pure relocalizationist. I also want to give you a short introduction to the search for a cure against despair. The 5 lectures are part in my contribution in the search to find a cure against the feeling of despair in contemporary society. I try not to ask questions. We have enough of questions and question producers today. I try to give answers, or at least start the process for giving answers. I try to give answers, or at least start a process to answer a question. I try to give answers or at least start a process to answer questions. My intention is not to point at you and tell you, you must do this or you must do that. I am here to be the example for how I do and what can be done. I'm not part of the critical contemporary art scene or art discourse. I am part of a different tradition. I am part of the healing. I am part of the cure.
Actually, I'm on my bike in New Jersey, up some highway, so that's plenty of roads. Should I change that?
Most of my life have been spent in the big world, traveling, taking part in discussions, big thoughts, attending big exhibitions, big parties, and met big people. I have often mistaken these big events as being important because of their size, because of them being big. This macro understanding of the world have given me a good understanding of the larger structures that surrounds us and maybe also controls us. The problem with the big world for me is how everything and every person turns into statistics and examples in a big story. Participants never take part as themselves, as unique, as individuals. The big world turns all and everyone into frozen material, maybe even dead. I have always been told that this is how it must be, for us to be able to analyze and understand. I have always been told that this is how it must be, for us to be able to analyze and thereby understand the world. I have always been told that this is how it must be. I have always been told that this is how it must be for us to analyze and thereby understand the world, since the world is too complex to understand otherwise. But I believe the opposite. We must embrace the complexity. We must embrace the complexity and see the world as magical and new. We must allow all senses, smell, touch, sound, vision, emotions in our understanding of the world and ourselves, to be able to find a cure against despair. In the small world, all is new and all is present. A pebble, a pen, a bird, to exercise balance on a stone in the forest, to understand complicated concept as behind, hidden and in front. I believe this complexity is important to live in, and by taking part of the complex events of everyday life, here and now, I am able to understand and merge my life's different parts, and by that also avoid being an example in someone else's big story and big world. Instead, I can and I am the example for my small world.